Hey people, what's up? I hope you're doing well. I've got an exciting one today. I'm going to make a track completely from scratch. I literally don't even have my Ableton template loaded, so you can see how I start from a completely blank slate, and the goal is to make a chill, vibey, lo-fi house track in about an hour. So I'm going to start with a loop, arrange it, do some basic mixing, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So if you enjoy this type of content, please do remember to hit that like button. It really helps my channel. Subscribe if you would like to see future videos. And leave me a comment what you think of this track, what you think of this process, and what you'd like to see in future videos. So on that note, let's hop right in and let's do it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just create a really simple house groove with the kick, the hat, and the clap. So I'm just going to grab those real quick. Grab this, and if you're just starting, you'll notice that Ableton likes to put a little fade. See how much difference that makes. So if you had a nice punchy kick, that doesn't sound very punchy anymore. Check to make sure that that fade is pulled back. I'm just going to shorten this kick up a little bit. And anytime I do this, I'm just hitting Control-J on my keyboard to consolidate the changes that I'm making to the audio clip. And I'm just going to do that to every quarter note. And then I'm just going to consolidate all of those, just a 4-bar loop here to start with. I'm going to grab kind of like an acoustic sounding hat. Then do the same thing, just copy that out and consolidate it. And I do have just a simple audio rack that I've created here that I want to drop on each of these channels as well. It's basically just an EQ, a compressor, and a utility, Ableton stock utility. Pull that down. I'm just going to grab a clap real quick too. Then I'm going to go ahead and layer that with one other clap just to give it a little bit more body. And I'm going to kind of fade this one in a little bit just because I don't want two transients hitting at the same time, because it's going to really make it hard to compress it all at the end. And go ahead and group those together. And I'm moving this in really small increments by, if you start to drag it and then you hold Alt, you can pretty much free move it wherever you want. Just an easy way to kind of line things up if they're not right on the grid. Okay, so that sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and just copy that one over as well to each clap. And then consolidate it. Since I'm going more for lo-fi, I'm kind of going to bring out a little bit more of that body. Take down the highs a little bit. I just want to throw on there a limiter on the master real quick, just so we're not clipping. And I kind of like to mix as I go, just mainly sound leveling, like volume. Okay, that's really simple groove, and let's go ahead and add some chords now. Let's see, let's grab Analog Lab. And sure, that's fine. I'm just gonna put some chords down with that real quick. So Control-Shift-M to add a new MIDI clip, and I'm going to do this in Dorian today. Dorian mode is also, it's very similar to the minor scale. So it's kind of a lot of the same flavor of it. It's just, I believe it has a major second or sixth. One of those, I'm not sure at the moment. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay. Let's go ahead and start with the root note, root chord. I mean, like a B flat ninth, B flat minor ninth. And then, where do we want it to go? Up or down? How about up? C minor. Very nice voice leading there, and if you don't know what voice leading is, check out the video that I'm going to link above. So I kind of want to bring this back down a little bit. I'm going to actually take this note down and duplicate it. So I'm going to do Control-V to copy and paste it. So there's actually two of those notes there. Then hold Shift and down to take it down an octave. And I'm going to move that up one so it's not like the same chord as the beginning. And the problem here is that that's the diminished chord for this scale. So what I'm going to do to get around that is I'm actually not even going to put the fifth in. So we're going to have the root, the third. We'll skip up to the seventh of the chord, which would be an F, because normally B, G, B, D, F. And then I'll just copy this up here. So we'll just have kind of a deconstructed G minor 7 there. And another nice thing that can be cool is to kind of have one note sustaining throughout. And good options for that are either the root note, which I think this is going to be too busy. Yeah, I don't like it there. So the root note is an option, and another good option is the fifth of the scale, which is this F. And I'm going to take it up an octave and just have that play. sounds cool. I'm gonna grab Ableton's MIDI effect, the velocity effect, and drop that on there. Something like that. I'm also gonna take this tempo down to like 115 because that needs to be chilled out a little bit. Okay, there we go, that's cool. All right, let me grab my audio rack for that real quick. I'll drop that on. That should be fine. So I want to compress it, maybe just catch a few of the peaks. And then to make it sound a little bit more lo-fi, well, first of all, let's change the sound because I forgot I'm still using just the initial Analog Lab sound. Let's change that. There we go. Turn the brightness up a little bit. And this tremolo and the flanger here are going to give it some nice width. So I want to make sure it's not too much because sometimes that can fall apart if you're playing it on mono. So I'm just going to check it. Okay, not too bad. So that sounds okay. And then I'm also going to grab Ableton's chorus, throw that in here, change it to vibrato, and you'll get that nice pitch wobble. And turn it way down though. And this warmth knob will give it a little bit of grit. That's too much. Sounds a little bit more lo-fi now. Okay, that sounds good. Let me go ahead and color code these real quick because that's what I normally do. That, and then all of these are my drums. Normally those are blue. And assign those to that. And then what can we do? Go ahead and add the bass. And for like deep house, lo-fi house, a lot of them have like a more melodic bass line. And you kind of want to choose when you're creating your track if you want your kick or your bass to kind of drive the track. And for this one, I want the bass to do it. So I'm going to do kind of that melodic bass line. And this has become my go-to for this kind of bass. Just a really nice bass to play for like a groovy bass line. What I should do real quick though is sidechain my chords to the kick. So let me just rename that real quick. Let's rename all of these here. And I don't really like to use sidechain compression anymore just because it's kind of messy and it doesn't sound as good. So what I've started to do is use this duck plugin, which is basically like Kickstart. It's like the same thing. So I'm just going to drop that on here and I'm going to put it after my first compressor there. And let's just dial this in and change it to sidechain and then input the kick as the trigger. And I can dial this back so it's not quite as dramatic. So you're getting a little bit of that pumping effect, but it's not crazy. So I think that sounds good. Okay, back to the bass. So I'm going to record this in because it's going to take me like 20 hours to draw this in with the groove and the way that I want it, so I have to record it. Except I hit a wrong note, so So I'm just going to go ahead and fix that in here. Let's make that one a little bit shorter and this one a little bit longer. And this all contributes to the groove of your track, is kind of mixing these shorter notes and longer notes in. And then to kind of mix this, what I want to do is create, let me grab my audio rack. And then what I want to do, I'm first of all going to get rid of that low cut there. But I'm going to take all of this and just move it outside of this rack. So now I have an empty audio rack. And if you click this little hamburger here, there's a chain here, which is basically just your dry signal. And what I want to do is create a second chain. And I'm going to add another Pro Q on both of these channels. So one here and one here. And what I want to do is just make them to be opposite. So one is basically going to be my sub bass, one is going to be the upper portion of the bass. Except I forgot I need to move this down an octave still. Okay. And so my sub bass, somewhere around here, maybe like 125-ish. Let's say 127. And then for this other one, the upper bass, what I want to do is do the same exact thing except the opposite. Same thing except the opposite. That makes sense, right? So we'll do that. And then what I want to do for that, the upper bass, not the sub bass, is grab a saturator. So that can be pretty much anything. I prefer thermal for a lot of this stuff, but you can use decapitator, you can use Ableton stock saturator, whatever you'd like. And I'm going to drop that after the EQ on that second chain and come in here. See, you just make that nasty. You can make it super aggressive, it's basically as much as you want. And then just dial it into taste down here on the volume. And then you can EQ the entire thing together to make it mesh a little bit better. So I think that sounds pretty good. Just compress the peaks just a little bit to catch those. And since this bass is going to be kind of the driving force of this track, I don't want to sidechain it because it's going to make it sound really weird and just weak. So I'm going to copy this out to be 8 bars and then add a little bit of a different bass line maybe here at the end for the change up. This is like literally what takes up most of my time, is just dialing in this stupid bass groove. Okay, that sounds pretty good. We'll leave it there. Okay. Okay, so that's a pretty good start. gonna go ahead and flesh out this drum groove too. We need to add some more stuff. So I'm gonna go into my percussion samples and just see what sounds good with it. Sounds good. I'm going to grab that one and I'm going to mess with the transients here. So you come down to the actual audio, leave it on the beats for the warp option, and then change that to the single arrow. And basically it kind of acts as a gate. So the higher the number, the more sound it's going to let through. So I kind of want this to be just more of a percussive background element. So I'm going to drag this down, do something like that. That sounds pretty good. And let's throw that on there. Duplicate that and grab another percussion loop, maybe like a conga or a drum or something. Yeah, that sounds cool. Let's see. I'm just going to get rid of all of that. Maybe copy and paste that. Let's see. Okay, that sounds cool. I'm going to go ahead and consolidate that. And maybe do the same thing with the beats and turn it down a little bit. And then just duplicate that over. Maybe for this one, I leave that second hit out. Go ahead and consolidate all of that and duplicate it out. That's a pretty solid start. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab all of this and we'll move it over by like 8 so we can start arranging and get an intro going. So I'm going to grab both of those, drag those back so we have the chords. And maybe grab like the main elements here, so all of this, and bring it back. And let's see, maybe grab just like an EQ8, something simple to automate. So I'll just drop that here. I'm just going to create So we're cutting out a lot of the bass for the bass or for the kick drum, and then this. So just starting with like a band pass there, and then what I'm going to do is kind of automate that to open up as it gets closer to the end here. And then probably about here, I want to turn it off because I don't want it affecting the rest of the track. Maybe like there. Let's grab a vocal to add in here. All right, so I'm gonna hop on Splice and grab a vocal. I'm looking for something that's kind of like jazzy or R&B, not so much like the actual like EDM vocals. So let's see.
Maybe I could get lost in you.
Okay, so I think I can make this one work. Let's see.
Maybe I could get lost in you. Can't get enough of you. Baby, give me good love.
So let's go ahead and change it to Complex Pro. Take it up to, I think, the G sharp.
Maybe I could get lost in you. Can't get enough of you. Baby, give me good love. Boy, you give me good love.
And I don't want to keep this whole thing.
Good love. Good love. Boy, you give me good
Basically, I just
love.
want to find a little section to chop out.
Enough of you. Enough of you. Enough of you. Enough of you.
Okay, so I think I can make this work. I'm just going to take this section here and cut it for now. And pull this off to the side just for a second. Okay, let's do this. Thinking like, let's see, here. It's still not matching really what I want, so I'm going to actually double this so it's a lot slower. And that's really bad. That's too slow. So I'm going to hold Shift so this little arrow comes up here on the side of this, whatever this is, to drag it. I'm going to pull it back a little bit. And I'm just kind of manually trying to fit it in time. I think that's actually pretty close. Let's see. Okay, I think that sounds pretty good. So let's get rid of those and then copy this over. Okay, that sounds cool. So I'm hearing in my head, which no one else can hear, like everything except maybe the vocal and the chords drop out, like for that. So let's see if I... So everything after here, maybe. Let's see how that sounds. Cool. Let's add another audio track down here and add just like a little reverse cymbal or something. Let's see. Come up to my cymbals and just grab. Sure, let's try that one. And maybe have that. Let's see, let's hit R to reverse it. Drag it back just a little bit. Take that fade off. And probably add a little bit of a reverb. It's actually not too bad without it. But let's grab one anyway. Down here, drop that on that. And probably an EQ too. I'm actually going to add one. Let's just duplicate it. It's easier. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to add one more clap there too. Not from there, from somewhere in here. Okay, all right. Let's take the fade off. Let's see. Turn the mix down a little bit. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this out. Same with all of this stuff. And let's grab all of this. And then what I want to do is basically the same thing I did with the vocal except for the bass. So I'm going to let that bass breathe, just take out all of this for that little bass turnaround. So I'm just going to select this all, hit 0, and let's see. Copy the same clap. And for this vocal real quick, I didn't do any processing on this. So what I want to do is just grab my audio rack here. Okay, I'm going to drag all of this outside of the audio rack again. And then we just have the dry vocal. I'm going to create a chain and drop a reverb in there. And I'm going to grab this compressor and drop it in there as well. And what I'm going to do is just sidechain that dry vocal to this reverb. So every time it goes, it ducks the reverb a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that vocal, get rid of that for now. And I'm going to create kind of like a little vocal chop to play off of that bass line. So kind of like a call and response almost. There we go. And then one more time. There. And then we need to add another melodic thing. So I'm going to insert another audio track here. I'm going to rename this bass. And I don't know why it's in all capitals, but sure, it's that important. And I don't usually use saxophone, but I'm feeling like a saxophone would fit here. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab all of this stuff, copy it over, copy that, and let's see. Let me go find a saxophone loop. Okay, so I found this. I think it sounds pretty good. I need to just change the key. Change it to complex. And let's see. Okay, so I don't like that section there, so I'm just going to cut that. It's like really abrupt. I'm actually going to drop, I think, a reverb right on the channel to make that a little less harsh when it cuts off there. So let's just drop that here. Just like a slight amount. It sounds a little more natural. And maybe just repeat this section again. Let's get rid of that altogether. Then go ahead and just continue this on. Maybe have this be like a little bridge section. I just want to actually not have the vocal coming right away, so I'm going to do Control-I here and insert like 8 more bars. And basically copy everything back except for that vocal. And then just have that come in. And I'm kind of like going all over the place right now. I'm just going to add a MIDI track and add a pad in here too, kind of like a string pad. We'll go ahead and add that here. And let's see. Let's change it to 8 bars. And I think I'm just going to do root in the 5th of that B flat minor chord. Off. And then maybe here, where that saxophone comes in, just cut all of this, except maybe have that part. So I like this section. I'll take that. And then have it repeat there. And then have that go one more time. Just have like an easy B section here, or maybe like everything pretty much cuts out. And bring that original vocal back in. Just consolidate that so it's easier to move. Bring that over to here. Maybe this. Maybe a simplified bass line. Get rid of that. I know that A is not in the scale, but it actually works to just kind of walk up like that. All right, that's cool, and then we just bring everything back in at that point. Let's grab all of this, copy it over to there, and maybe we'll just do this again with these two. I kind of like without the bass. So let's just copy all of that again. And pretty much fade it out from there, and that's pretty good. Maybe add that pad in one more time here. And I think that's the majority of what I would do here. And I don't want to make this video any longer because it's already really long, hopefully about an hour. And we got most of everything done. So yeah, there's obviously still some minor fixes that need to be made and little tweaks and some more mixing and mastering, of course. But this is the gist of how I would make a track like this from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll play the whole thing for what I have. If you want me to finish this track and maybe post it on Spotify, leave me a comment below and I can do that. If you enjoyed, please do remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you very soon in the next video.